Hi, my name's Tim. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about things that I enjoy, and one of those things is Doctor Who. So I've got a bit of an exercise here where I'm running through what if I was the showrunner of Doctor Who, and this is my third episode. It's called An Extraordinary Voyage. So we've got the Doctor, played by Patterson Joseph, and Poppy Cooper, my companion, played by Miss Maisie Smith. Um, the Doctor explains that not only can go into the future, but the TARDIS can also go into the past. Throughout the whole time, you saw in the first episode that Poppy actually is reading a copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, and she says she knows exactly who she wants to meet. We might even get a scene before the credits, because you usually have a scene before the credits, where there's some kind of crew and they get attacked by someone and the guy's like, ah, because that's like a good Doctor Who intro, you know what I mean? Then the Doctor says, oh, well, let's land in Paris in 1892 and see Jules Verne receive the Légion d'Honneur. So he goes, pulls the lever, twirls the things, TARDIS goes, and they land in the middle of a storm on a ship. So once again, the Doctor has put them in the wrong place. The ship is called the Chancellor, and they're somewhere in the North Sea, and they land right in the middle of an argument. You've got a bunch of sailors, big burly sailor types, and a bunch of French literary types. Aristide Ignard is on there, and Jules Verne. They come right in the middle of this, and you've got Swedish sailors, the Swedish captain, someone called Caravan. They're in the middle of a storm, and he wants to take them north to kind of go around the storm because it's safer, but it will take longer. While Jules Verne is desperate to go through the storm because he wants to see the birth of his son. That's why he's going on this ship. He wants to go to France to see the birth of his son. This is when we see Poppy can understand both sides. So we get a little bit of explanation on the TARDIS can translate. And then maybe even he explains, oh yeah, last time, like, people don't talk English anymore. They talk some weird new English that you didn't even realise what talking about. And we can have like the Swedish sailors all have the same accent. Let's say they're all Scottish or something like that. And the French can be all have French accents. Anyway, so they're kind of having this discussion, and Jules Verne really, really wants to get to see the birth of his son. That's why he paid for them to get him to Paris, to get him to France. Then suddenly, in the middle of the storm, a man appears, and he's wearing a big deep sea diving suit. You know, one of those really old metal ones with the big round heads. And he grabs one of the Swedish sailors and drags him overboard, and no one can stop him. The guy's gone. Then another one tries to grab the captain, and the crew saves him. And there's a big fight. One tries to grab Jules Verne, and again they all fight them off. And eventually the Doctor uses his sonic, and he opens up the suit, depressurizes it, and he takes the helmet off. And as soon as he depressurizes the suit, it falls limp. And they take the helmet off, and it's a dead body underneath, like a zombie body. Zombies basically is the thing. And it's covered in like some kind of poisonous substance. It's like all like oozy, and there's ooze coming out of its fingers. We then get a scene where Poppy, the Doctor explains to Poppy about time travel, and don't spoil the future because they haven't been through it yet. And there's a bit about fixed points in times because she really wants to talk to Jules Verne. And the Doctor gives her a bit of a warning before she goes. She talks about she does do a bit of spoiling some future novels, a bit like that. Oh, can't go around the world in 80 days in this, and he's like, what? Why would you do that? But she talks to him about his family. That's what she talks to him about, and how he's so excited to see his son. He's already a stepfather. He's got 2 daughters, and he's looking forward to having a little baby son. While Poppy explains that her father died at the end of the Second World War when she was only a baby, and he's like, "What war?" And But either way, there is some reveal that Jules Verne has been infected by this poison. And he's like, I'm really sad because I will never get to see my son because I've been poisoned. He's got, like, I don't know, he's got something there. You know, a bit of makeup. Poppy immediately goes to the doctor and tells him this news. And the doctor knows that this isn't the time that he dies. So they have to do something. Because if Jules Verne dies here, then time will be rewritten, and that's not good for history. So they want to save Jules Verne. Thing is, the doctor in this time has been experimenting with the suit. He's been working on it. He's been doing a bit of science, been inventing, and he's one step away from the antidote. He's got like a little test kit or something like that. The zombies in the suit are not the main threat. They're merely part of a hive mind. He's figured that out. There's some kind of psychic substance to this gloop, to this poison. So if he could get something from the hive mind creature, then he can make a cure and save Jules Verne. They come across the crew are still going through this storm. There's still a storm the whole time. They come across a shipwreck, and there's like people, and maybe we even get a scene where they see animals, like sea animals, fleeing, or birds just flying past them, and there's a storm in the distance. And this is the main creature that's chasing them, because it can sense Jules Verne, and it wants to make Jules Verne part of the host. So they try and get the ship to go as quickly as possible away from this very localized storm that you see in the distance. The doctor comes out and he's wearing the diving suit. He's got the helmet off at the moment, but he's like, right, let's do this. And maybe he even has his bowler hat on in the diving suit. I think that would be quite funny. But he puts the helmet on, flicks a switch, and his boots become magnetized, so he can walk along the bottom of the ship. So you've got the ship being chased, you've got the big creature, and then you've got the doctor is on the bottom of the ship. That's the chase. Meanwhile, we have more and more deep sea diving suit zombie people coming out on the ship. So that's what's happening on top. You've got the doctor underneath. You see, as they're being chased, you see tentacles ripping out. Maybe each tentacle goes and connects to, drops off the zombies on top of the ship. So we see this. You have the crew, Poppy, and the captain, Caravan. He's fighting off the crew. Jules Verne is starting to drift in and out of consciousness. He's starting to lose control as the main creature, the hive mind, is much closer. But eventually, gradually, the crew, they lose some, but they also manage to break the seals on the diving suits. They stop some of the zombies. But the doctor manages to get the tentacle to wrap around him of one of these creatures, of the hive mind creature. And he kind of cuts off part of the tentacle. And he then walks back up. And while this battle's going on, he does a bit of science. And he makes the solution. Meanwhile, the crew, they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And Poppy remembers from the books that there's this thing called the maelstrom in the North Sea. And she's like, head there, head there. This is like part of it. They're going further into the storm to try and throw off the zombies. And the storm is battering them. And they're fighting. And then you've got the doctor underneath the ship. Anyway, he managed to get something. And he gets some magical trinket that he's invented, which are basically beacons of imagination. And he takes those and throws them into the maelstrom, and you see the big creature drift off and chase. Eventually, as the creature drifts off, actually the remaining zombies just go overboard and just leave because they sense something bigger. Then the doctor has a scene where he invents the cure, and they cure Jules Verne. Jules Verne is saved. They are all happy. Everyone's happy. The doctor and Poppy head off, and we see Jules Verne holding his little baby boy. He missed the birth due to this delay of almost being killed. But in only 2 years' time, he will publish the first of his works. Meanwhile, he's there and he's holding the baby. We see out in the streets of Paris a red English phone box. So, usually when you have a new companion, you have a celebrity historical, which is one where they go back in time and meet a famous person. We've had Charles Dickens, we've had William Shakespeare, we've had Pompey, we've had Churchill. Who else? Who did Clara meet early on? I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head. But it's a staple of the show because it helps introduce to the character and to the audience time travel. You can go in the past, you can meet famous people. I think Jules Verne is a really interesting character. There's enough that you don't know that much about him, but you know his stories. Also, we get, I think deep sea diving suits are a really cool aesthetic. You have that kind of science romance aesthetic of the ship. We get a bit of the TARDIS being a translator function. We also have a reason for the Doctor and Poppy to stay. Because usually there's always a problem in an episode when the Doctor and Poppy could just leave. So they usually resolve that problem by having someone capture the TARDIS. And don't worry, that will happen later on in this series. But here, they actually need to save Jules Verne because the timeline would be broken. Something bad would happen. Also, we see the Doctor do a lot of invention, and that's one of my favourite aspects of the Doctor. It's one of the reasons why the third Doctor is one of my favourites, because he invented things out of coat hangers, and I find that really entertaining. In terms of the production of this, you would have, the main thing would be the deck of the ship, and you would need like an office where Poppy and Jules Verne can have their kind of scenes, and maybe we see Jules Verne struggling and being sick. You need a bit of makeup there, you need some deep sea diving suits, maybe only one or two. The rest of it would be in CGI, and I would think that the creature with the tentacles, it's the Kraken. We know it's the Kraken. The Kraken would be CG, and I would want to see very minimal of it. I would want it to be mainly unseen. Just merely tentacles and a dark shape, and just it be really scary. The unknown is scarier than what a big CG squid could look like. So that is my episode 3. An Extraordinary Voyage. We see a celebrity historical. We also have a little bit of the arc of the Doctor not being able to control the TARDIS properly, and we see the red phone box in Paris. Why is it there? Right, that's my episode 3. The next part of this will be a 2-parter. I haven't decided if I'm going to do both episodes together or one separately. Those are the words. Anyway, if you like Doctor Who, please comment and let me know what you think of what this story could look like. I'm going to try and ramp these up as we get to November and the 60th anniversary of the show. So, thank you very much. I still need to find an outro. Bye!